plenty of people are taking another look at the night sky as they sit home during this pandemic.
Yeah, and those who track UFO sightings say that there's been a noticeable and significant increase in the U.S. and here in Minnesota.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Salas. In 1967, I was a first lieutenant stationed at Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana. I was a missile launch officer. Sometime in the evening hours on March 24th, I received a call from one of my topside guards, the flight security controller, stating that they had been observing strange lights in the sky making odd maneuvers. He called back about 5 minutes later. This time he was screaming into the phone saying they're looking at a red glowing object hovering just above our front gate. Our missiles began going into what's called a no-go condition or unlaunchable. Essentially, they were disabled while this object was still hovering over our site.
The US government is creating a new task force to investigate UFO sightings. It comes just months after the Pentagon declassified 3 videos captured by Navy pilots showing unidentified flying objects.
Officials from the Federal Aviation Administration say there were no aircraft incidents or accidents in this area Tuesday night, but multiple witnesses report seeing a large blue object fall out of the sky and into the ocean.
I was 16 years old and saw 7 red light type UFOs flying around over Washington, D.C. 26 July 1952 made headlines around the world. That was the second Saturday night in a row that alien vehicles put on a demonstration to the extent that the media could not ignore it and the government couldn't cover it up.
Many of these Air Force veterans, a number of them have finally stepped forward to reveal the truth.
It becomes a national security problem of great importance when it involves, when this phenomenon involves unique technology, unique to our society and time. And everybody is experiencing the same kind of phenomena. They're not just visiting one country or one place. It's happening all over the world. And every place where it happens, they retain the best evidence for their own information, but always thinking that they've got a piece of the puzzle and they don't want to give that piece to somebody else that might complete his puzzle before theirs. So everybody holds all the pieces to their chest, doesn't release any information, hopes to get information that others have without giving anything in return. And in that sense, it becomes a national security problem because it always represents the potential for a technological breakthrough that would give us an advantage or give an enemy an advantage over all the rest of the world. And so, in that sense, it's a serious national security problem, and I understand that.
What the hell is that?
All night long. A lot of people went to the landing site and they collected many objects left behind. Later on, the staff from the Air Force came over and took the objects from the police, and they sent all these objects to Washington.
On September 27, 2010, a leading UFO researcher, Robert Hastings, and a former Minuteman missile launch officer, Robert Salas, co-sponsored the UFOs and Nukes press conference in Washington, D.C., in an effort to bring the facts to the public.
Now, as we mentioned, there have been thousands of sightings across our province, the vast majority right here in Winnipeg.
Hey, did you see a flying disc out by C-17?
Pilots on the ground are reporting a UFO sighting.
We just had something go right over the top of us that, I hate to say this, looked like a long cylindrical object, looked like a cruise missile type of thing moving really fast. Any targets up here? We just had something go right over the top of us.
From cyberspace to outer space, the number of UFO sightings in Canada is soaring tenfold over the past 25 years.
Out of that mysterious close encounter, this object you see here was caught on camera flying past the SpaceX rocket just minutes after liftoff last week.
Meantime, UFO sightings in New York have nearly doubled since the pandemic began, and we are getting new video from the Navy showing pyramid-shaped objects flying in the sky.
Vision video purportedly shows 3 pyramid-shaped UFOs flying over the USS Russell off the coast of California in July of 2019. At one point, these UFOs reportedly hovered just 700 feet above the tail of the Navy destroyer, making, quote, extraordinary maneuvers. Now, Corbell says the unclassified video is part of a classified government report intended to educate officials about unidentified crafts flying over restricted airspace. These cell phone photos taken by a FA-18 pilot in March of 2019 show 3 different unidentified aircrafts off the coast of Oceania, including 2 UFOs dubbed the Metallic Blimp and another called the Sphere. A Department of Defense spokesperson said, quote, "I can confirm that the referenced photos and videos were taken by Navy personnel. The Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force has included these incidents in their ongoing examinations. However, the Pentagon was unwilling to confirm these 3 photos, which Corbell says came from the USS Omaha, showing a UFO diving into the ocean and disappearing.